This video is powered by, as always, entertainment. If you enjoyed this content, consider becoming a patron over on patreon.com/asalways for access to the Patreon exclusive podcast, The Kill Connor Clubhouse, early access to the Cinema Room podcast, being part of polls for future videos, and other early access material. With that said, please enjoy the video. LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga was a game that was announced. Not a remake, not a remaster, but an entirely new game developed from the ground up. Remember this game, Star Wars The Complete Saga? Doesn't exist, never existed. This is a new game. But in all seriousness, this game has been developed as a new game following the Star Wars saga of movies, completely ignoring the complete saga and just reinventing what it means to create a LEGO Star Wars game. There is so much information floating around in different areas, and your boy right here has gone through the process of collating what I believe is all of the information from articles and interviews into one, hopefully concise, video.
040 Oh my god, you went to incredible lengths for the video. You did some research, you deserve a trophy now.
I was joking, but if you insist. Before we begin, I want to give a quick word from our sponsor. Amino used to be an app simply for finding like-minded communities, whether it be Marvel, anime, video games, anything you can think of, and talking to people who have similar interests. All of that is still there, but on top of that, it now facilitates content creators like myself. Short videos on topics people will actually be interested in. I've already made 2 of them myself, top 5 assassin robes and top 5 cities in Assassin's Creed. Go and check them out with the link below. The more people that go and follow me, watch my content, etc., the more it actually helps me out in terms of revenue. So if you can spare a moment, click the link in the description, head over to my Amino profile, go and check it out. Anyways, on with the video. First things first, this game has not been shown publicly, only at this point behind closed doors to any who visited E3. So we have to go off of the description that they tell us. Obviously, this could be false information from awful people lying, but most is reputable, and therefore, I would assume it to be true. Like I said before, this is not a remaster, not a remake, but an entirely new game. I know it's hard, but imagine we never had LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga. That is essentially what they're doing when making this game. They aren't remaking the original LEGO missions, they're entirely remaking this game based on the movies without the old LEGO games in mind, which personally, I welcome, meaning everything we're seeing is going to be entirely new. The devs have also said in order to keep information about Rise of the Skywalker from leaking, they've been told nothing at all about the plot of Star Wars Episode 9. They can't even begin working on Rise of the Skywalker content until closer to the release of the movie. A lot of people are mad at this, saying Disney should just tell TT Games to get the game out quicker. I for one am happy they're not telling them the plot, because it would leak almost instantly due to the fragile nature of information in games development. Things always leak from game studios all the time, entirely too frequently, and we don't need this from the final episode in a long-running saga like Star Wars. I can wait a bit for my LEGO game. There are a ton of redesigned character models, of course they'll all be redesigned, but we can see a few here, including Darth Vader, Darth Maul, Luke Skywalker, and so on. If you want to see all of them, I'm sure they exist somewhere. You thought I was going to link them below, didn't you? Well, too bad, because I can't be bothered to find all of them. I tried my best, but I'm just one guy, and I've already collated all this. I mean, what else do you want me to do? Moving on to gameplay now, there's been some major changes to this installment. You won't even recognize this LEGO Star Wars game, beyond, of course, the glaring Star Wars iconography and easily identifiable LEGO bricks. But beyond that, you won't even know what it is. The combat for LEGO Star Wars, the Skywalker Star Wars has been entirely changed. Of course, there are different combat styles like your lightsaber, your blasters, and also melee weapons like Rey's staff from The Force Awakens. I'm sure there'll be more, but these are the ones we know of so far. The lightsaber combat is said to be much deeper, fluid, and natural feeling. It'll be less of a hit, kill system, and giving players a chance to actually feel challenged with the light, medium, and heavy attacks along with combos to take down harder targets. This sounds incredibly in-depth, and I can't wait to see exactly what this means and how it all plays. Lightsabers are now also able to be used on the environment beyond just destroying blocks in order to solve puzzles, potentially by melting structures and other things that lightsabers do. Gunplay has an over-the-shoulder camera similar to LEGO The Force Awakens. Depending on where you shoot characters, different things can happen, such as shooting it in the head to kill someone instantly, or shooting arms and legs to detach those LEGO parts. There's really no need for this at all, but I'm certainly glad it's in the game. Turns out that LEGO Star Wars, the LEGO Skywalker Star Wars, has more dismemberment than currently Jedi Fallen Order, which, that's funny. It really makes me laugh. as you can tell. The Force is also a lot different this time around, meaning you'll be able to individually pick up objects as well as use them as projectiles or stack them together. Characters are also able to be picked up with the Force, and it seems they're going to give players a lot more control than previously, which is very nice. They've also said there are special Force abilities, one of which is the Jedi Mind Trick, which can be used to make characters dance and sing, as well as making enemies fight each other. Which other abilities there might be are yet to be seen. That's it for the basic gameplay. Now we're on to the juicy stuff, being the world itself. LEGO Star Wars used to have a hub, the cantina, in which you went through doors and played the missions. A lot of LEGO games since then have started having these large open worlds as hubs. LEGO Star Wars, the Skywalker LEGO Star Wars game, looks to take this one step further by having the whole galaxy explorable to you, and there is a lot of information we know with regards to this. First off, the game allows you to freely explore the galaxy, as I mentioned before. You're able to fly from planet to planet in your ship, which is customizable, and explore these planets themselves, meaning this is definitely the biggest LEGO game to date by a long shot. There are supposedly going to be 20 explorable planets. Currently we know of around 15, being Tatooine, Naboo, Dagobah, Cloud City, Mustafar, Hoth, Coruscant, Utapar, Starkiller Base, Crate, Geonosis, the Rebel Base, Jakku, Canto Bight, and the Forest Moon of Endor. They've also said they want to explore planets not properly explored in the movies, potentially meaning we could see places like Felucia, which briefly appeared in Star Wars The Episode 3. The gameplay shown of the open world at E3 displayed the Millennium Falcon traveling through space to then be attacked by a Star Destroyer, which is one of the many random events that can happen in the game as you're exploring the open world. The Star Destroyer then deployed TIE fighters, which the player could engage with or avoid by jumping to hyperspace. If the player chooses to engage in a dogfight, you'd then have to disable the Star Destroyer's shields and eventually take out the large ship, which is absolutely crazy. On top of that, large cruisers are fully explorable. You can land on a Star Destroyer, exit your ship, and explore the interior of these cruisers, which is just mind-blowing. And it's said that the same goes for the Death Star, so expect heaps and heaps of exploration. After fighting the Star Destroyer, the demo had the player fly down to Tatooine, which initiated a loading screen, followed by a landing sequence. There are apparently multiple landing points on each planet. After landing on a planet, you're then completely free to explore the planet, in this case, the sandy planet of Tatooine. There are many different locations to visit on each planet, which were seen in the Star Wars movies. A few listed for Tatooine includes the Lars Homestead, which is the moisture farm where Luke Skywalker grew up, Jabba's Palace, Mos Eisley, Mos Espa, and plenty more just on Tatooine alone. You can drive speeders, engage in some pod racing, fight Tusken Raiders, or just complete side quests. The world really is your oyster. Side quests also apparently allow you to earn studs, which can be used to upgrade your ships, which means you'll have some degree of ship customization. The final piece of information we have regarding the large open world is that it actually evolves as you play. For example, the ships in space. If you're playing the prequel era section of the story, there will be Separatists and Republic ships, whereas if you're around The Empire Strikes Back, there'll be the Empire and Rebellion. On top of this, locations will change. For example, if you visit the Jedi Temple during the prequels, it'll be all nice and good, but if you visit during the original trilogy story, it'll be absolutely fucked, because Anakin and his clone troopers well and truly destroyed it and murdered children. Missions exist in this game. You didn't think it was just the open world, did you? You'd be a fool if you did, because this game has missions telling the story of each of the Star Wars movies from the Skywalker Saga, being The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker. Now, you're apparently able to play through these in any order you choose, which is strange, since they've also said that the part of the story you're at affects the world, which leads me to believe that the hub changes depending on which movie you choose, meaning potentially you could pick the Phantom Menace from the main menu, and then the whole galaxy will be explorable in that era. The same for each subsequent movie, and that's the only way it really makes any sense to me. After completing the main missions, you're basically thrown back into the open world. It works somewhat similarly to any open world game where you would play a mission and then you're free to either do the next main mission or fuck off and not do the next main mission, and instead collect 100 feathers. It's all up to you. Side missions in the world are plentiful, however there are two types of missions we know about so far. The first being smuggler runs, transporting cargo from one area to another whilst being attacked by the Empire or the Separatists. You know what I'm saying, you get it. Second of these side missions are bounty hunter missions. Someone like Jabba will give you a target to track down, and you have to go and find them in the world and kill them or potentially bring them back alive. I'm not so sure about that, as there aren't any specifics, but if that were the case, then it sounds bloody fun, and I can't wait to play as an assassin in a game. again. And finally, information about the main missions themselves. The 9 episodes will be split into 5 missions each, totaling out at 45 missions in total. If you can't count, I just did it for you. Each mission is apparently 10 to 15 minutes in length, which sounds pretty short. However, there's more to it than just that. A lot of the events that happen in the movies will not only happen within missions, but also within the hub worlds themselves. They'll be seamlessly integrated into the open world, rather than necessarily being parts of linear set missions. The missions themselves as well are trying to do something new. They don't want to retread the same events as the previous games, and so will tackle new scenes and new sections from the movies that the original LEGO Star Wars skipped over, as to be new as opposed to being remakes of old levels, which I'm all on board for, so long as we keep some of the iconic missions in there, which I'm sure they will. Now for some final info that I simply couldn't precisely categorize. First up, there are tons of vehicles, from X-Wings to Land Speeders to the Millennium Falcon. They're truly going all out, and they say there will be 150 ships and vehicles in total, perhaps including Tauntauns, but also perhaps not including those. They could be separate. The character roster is apparently the largest for any LEGO game, currently standing at over 200 characters, which I'm sure will rise as development continues, and with Rise of the Skywalker adding more. There is a fully voiced cast of Disney-approved actors, likely meaning those from Battlefront 2 and probably the Clone Wars and Rebels television series. There's been a fair bit of backlash about the voices being in this, as people have a nostalgia for the Mumbles from the Mumbles. But you have to remember, they've had voices since LEGO Batman 2 in 2012. However, they have said that they may be working on a way to disable voices and simply have mumbles. This, however, would mean alternate cutscenes for every single cutscene, and so personally I wouldn't exactly hold out hope, but who knows? This game is running on an entirely new graphics engine, in which you can see the sand collects on characters the same with snow, and it brings a whole new level of immersion to the game. This game is a fully third-person game, as opposed to having a fixed camera, which means it's a lot easier to traverse and navigate, opening lots of doors. Not literally, I mean figuratively, lots of doors. Online co-op has been thrown around, however, it's not being confirmed. The devs have simply said, we've got new tech, which that doesn't answer the question at all, but thanks, I guess. Online co-op would be a great feature, but regardless, couch co-op will be present. As for the DLC content, as of now, there are no plans. However, they do plan to support the game post-launch, which means there are plans. What I mean to say is there are no planned DLC packs. Rather, they know there will be some. They just don't know exactly what they might be. Perhaps something Clone Wars, maybe Rebels related, or maybe Rogue One or Solo, a Star Wars. Who knows? Let me know what you like. And that's all the information. If I missed anything, don't fucking tell me, because this took me ages and I'll be pissed off. So don't fucking tell me. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're interested in other content from me, you're in luck, because I have some. Go and look at it all and watch it, and I'm sure you'll have fun. Thanks to all our Patreon producers, King Richard III, Kassassin, Elstico91, Seth, and Josh Devillier. Bloody see you next time.